should be added, and now I'm adding Septi. And unfortunately, you, Septi, have you logged in yet?
Not yet. I'm getting the link.
Because you have to log in before I add you.
Okay, just give me a second. It's because I'm doing like the recording. Just 1 second.
Yeah. Sure. And and the same goes for as laser. If you haven't logged in, you need to log into the system first before I can add you.
Okay, I'm in.
Cool.
What happened to the pseudonyms?
The pseudonyms aren't there yet because in order for you to the pseudonyms. First, that feature is not implemented yet. The setting is there to turn it on and off. It's a simple thing to add, and it's not at this stage. So when viewing the names in the quantifier pool, the pseudonyms is not a thing, because there we would like to see the real persons behind who is in the quantifier pool, because this is an admin page that you are seeing on my screen now. But currently we don't see any of your usernames either, because you haven't activated your account through Discord, and that is one step that we haven't finished yet, because for doing that we need to have the bot up and running. But that is not vital actually to be able to quantify praise. The only thing that happens when you activate your account following a link from Discord is that your Discord username gets connected to your Ethereum address. So in the UI, it looks more pretty, seeing your real name and not your Ethereum address. But you can still use the system without the good-looking username.
I think my address is very Christopher.
Did you say that you have logged in?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll try. I think I need to reload before adding someone. So what I'm doing here is I'm just searching for part of the Ethereum address, and currently in this dropdown there should be something more good looking than nothing. Usually the username will be visible there, or the Ethereum address if there is no username.
I just logged in too. Can you add me?
Yeah, you have to send me your Ethereum address so I can have something to add. Okay, thanks. And now we have enough addresses when I've added you here and Mitch to actually assign quantifiers for this for a test period.
It doesn't matter.
So sorry?
I was just going to say, like, if it doesn't matter, like if we choose like period 2 or 3, like I see 2 periods open.
Yeah. Let me start by first deleting these test users. So we because the system assigns quantifiers automatically when I press the assign button. So if I remove these, I will sort of guarantee that I removed myself. Try to add myself again. I think that's me. Yeah, quantifier periods. Like you can see, there are 3 periods. One period is closed, and the other 2 are open. So now no quantifiers have been assigned to this period. But now let's change that. So I'm a representative of the reward board, and now I want to start the quantification for this period because the end date has passed and it's time to get started. So I press the assign quantifiers, and it says that the quantifier pool has 8 members, and based on the amount of praise and the settings we have set, we need 6 quantifiers. So the requirements are met, which means I can assign, and now we get some notification about assigning occurring and confirmation. And in this list, you should be seeing your usernames or your Ethereum addresses. So that is a simple fix I will make. And now there's just empty space because you don't have any usernames, only Ethereum addresses. But as far as I can tell, you now should have been assigned praise to quantify. So if you reload your browser and press Shift and reload, you should be able to see, maybe not all of you, 1, 2, 3, 7 of you should be able to see praise to quantify. And I'm logging in. So does it work for you?
I'm like, since I don't see my name,
I can only see Jason.
Yeah, I see like this pink thing like quantify, but then it doesn't matter where I click. It do not give me to the praise period.
I could click and quantify, but then it just brings me to a board that shows all the quantifiers and the items, but then I can't click to actually quantify.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Because I assign a new new roles to all of you. You used to be only users, and now since I assigned you to the quantifier pool, you have become quantifiers. So you need to log out of the system and log in again. And there's no like really there's not really a good way around that unless we on each request sort of check if the roles have been changed, which seems a bit. Usually, I think we will add people to the quantifier pool, and they will, when they log in the next time, they will have the right permissions. And to log out, you click on your Ethereum address in the down left corner and choose log out, and then you get to log in again.
I just did that, and now it's working. But when you click on quantify on the quantify button, it doesn't take you to somewhere where you can quantify. You have to click on the period 2. I don't know if that's intended, but it's a bit confusing as a first impression.
Yeah, could you maybe show your screen?
Yeah, sure.
We can do some simple.
Oh no, I can't because it won't let me share my Firefox for some reason. Sorry. It's just that when I get to the page and it says like current quantification ends at February 1st. You can perform quantifications for the following periods. And then there's period 2, which is a link. And when I click it shows me the users I can quantify and takes me to the page where I can quantify. But if I go below to the list of periods, and there is the period 2, and there is a big pink button which says quantify. And if I click there, it takes me to another page where I cannot quantify anything. Just a list of items. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so far is intended. But if that is confusing, we can of course change that. So clicking on quantification periods, it just lists all periods, and the pink button is not intended as a button, but as a label.
Okay.
But if it is perceived as a button, then we need to make it more.
I just perceive it as a button.
Yeah. I can see that it it actually looks quite much like a button.
For me, I get here. If you can see my screen, and it doesn't let me click on anything.
Yeah, there's nothing to click there. Click on the TC logo up to the left.
Here?
Yeah. I don't remember adding you as a quantifier. Did I do that?
Oh.
Let me, because you didn't send me an address.
Oh, I had to send you an address. I'm sorry.
But I saw your address now, so I can add you.
I had a question. Is this supposed to be Fibonacci?
One
scale,
second
right?
before I forget the address. 6. So, but the thing is, Libby, for you, it's too late. Now we have already assigned quantifiers for this period, and but of course we can. We could assign quantifiers for a new period as well.
No, don't worry. I just missed that instruction. Sorry.
Sorry, what was you saying?
Yeah, I was asking which scale does this use? Fibonacci, right?
Sorry, which
scale is this using? The
scale?
praise. Yeah, the scale of the praise.
It's a Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, there's no 2.
No,
So
it's and that is also on purpose. It's like 1, 3, 5, 8. What is the scale?
There's like 7 points, I think, that were kind of like roughly spaced out between each other. So it's not like a full Fibonacci sequence, but we kind of like cherry picked 7 points in between that would vaguely represent different scales.
Well, it's using 10 right now, plus the 0. But, yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Wow. That's more than 7 and 5.
1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. That is easily changeable. I was uncertain what we decided upon, which scale. That question, I think, Livy, you asked that, and I realized I have sort of conflicting notes on what we decided. I know we discussed a smaller number of praise score choices.
I had
but that can be a setting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, I always had a stronger feeling for more numbers rather than less. I think it's important to have that flexibility.
Yeah,
so I think
same here. When the highest number is as high as 144, just having 5 in total makes the differences quite huge between 144 and the lower ones. If the because in reality it's not much difference between 1, 3, and 5, I guess, in the end. And then, so if we were to keep 1, 3, and 5, and then have 144, then it would be only one score in between 5 and 144, which gives us really not many options.
Yeah, it was intended, right, to have a slow increase that because most of the contributions will probably be in that lower range, and then having something that clearly changes from that range to something more meaningful, and then having something that if it's like extraordinary, it can go all the way up, but then slowly getting there.
So, but do we have any success with doing the quantifications? Like I mentioned, the intention is not that you should go into the quantification periods when you want to quantify. Maybe we can add it somewhere here as well, with the button below the period name or something. Like my thought was that if you see this information on the first page and on the period listing page, it doesn't need to be also on this period detail page, and on the period detail page, all the information will be shown. The praise scores will be visible here when I close the period. So this is a page that all users can visit to see the top list for the praise period, and also see their own scores.
I actually have a small issue. I'm trying to, fill out the numbers, and when I want to mark a praise as a duplicate, the ID isn't showing anywhere, so I don't know how to point to the other praise. There's no way for me to know.
The ID is in the list. It's the hashtag number.
I thought that was the for the username. Okay. Then everything's fine.
So I don't know if there is a simpler way of selecting. It's a similar way of choosing, as in when referencing GitHub issues, that you have to look up the issue number, because the list can be long. So how do you find the right praise in this case? How do you find the duplicate? So I think this is.
Yeah, sorry, it just threw me off because there is a character there, so I didn't parse it as a number. But there is no OK button to actually. Now it's showing up. It wasn't showing up in the list
when marking as a duplicate.
Yes, when I started typing the 2B33, it wasn't showing up. It took a while to actually offer me the option to choose it. But it's okay now.
Yeah, and I guess this backend is quite slow because I'm running the database and the web server and the front end on the same really small DigitalOcean droplet. But I guess there could be like a spinner load or something indicating that you're waiting for suggestions.
I'm having some problems, like actually, like when I go to my praise, it's asking me for login. I sign the transaction, but then it goes. Maybe I don't know if it's worth if I share screen and you give it a log.
Yep, please do.
Yeah, I just, like, if I go to my praise, then I just see this, then I just
my there's a bug there.
And then I come here, but if I click here, I'm like leave it, like nothing show up.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Perhaps you weren't assigned.
Okay. There's one person.
That could be the case.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the usernames are missing there because you haven't got any usernames, but it should show something instead, like the short version of your Ethereum address or something.
Okay.
So if nothing shows on the quantification periods, the page you were just visiting, the one before this, that means you are not actually you have been assigned as a quantifier for this period.
Okay.
And that might be the case because we had more quantifiers in the pool than we needed, and not everyone gets assigned.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Christopher, I also found something. I was testing the quantification actually with the bar. And you know the label up there where it says items left to quantify? It only shows one even though I quantified all of the rows.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me
It shows one still left.
Yeah, it's always one left.
Could you share your screen?
Sure, give me a second. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, but I'll take some notes. Labels in list.
For some reason, it doesn't want to.
Sorry. Can someone explain me what is in this process? It's my first quantifying period. So.
Yeah. So you have been assigned the quantifier, and these are the what you see on this screen is all the receivers you have been assigned to quantify. So you choose there, and then you, for each praise, you select a score, and that is the work of the quantifier.
Okay. But this is yours, for example, right?
Yeah. So everything you see now is dummy information generated by when we start up the system. Okay. So what remains to be done, except for fixing these small glitches that we identify now, like usernames, etc. But those are really small things. What is left before we can actually perform the trial quantification is that we need to import real information into the system. Okay. And as you can see, the quantification works. We can assign quantifiers, and we just also implemented the export function. So maybe I will close down this period now, because now you have all tried it out, and I can show you how it looks.
Can I give a small bit of feedback just
yes,
before we move on? It's really stupid. I just noticed what happened with the ID, which is I was putting in the number, the hashtag into the field, so it wasn't finding the ID. So maybe clarify that you don't have to put it there, like writing it into the form, or just discarding it when you search. Maybe it will make things smoother.
Sorry, I didn't quite get that. When you mark as a duplicate?
Yes, when I mark as a duplicate, my impulse was to write hashtag 25 blah blah blah. But since I was writing the hashtag into the input, it wasn't finding the praise because it's
good.
only without the hashtag.
Yeah. Hashtag. Hashtag in praise duplicate doesn't work. So I'm trying to write some stuff down now. So we because all this was really good feedback. Can you help me remember what we said? What was the glitches? Labels in the period was unclear. Did you all perceive it to be difficult to find where to go, how to enter the quantification mode? Should it be more highlighted? There's
a lot of UX improvements that need to be made, because things are like not clear how to get to where we need to go, you know? Like maybe just more obvious buttons to get to places, and like, you know, when we finish our quantification, like, is there a way to like submit it, or at least to like let the quantifier know that they're done everything?
For me as an administrator, I can see that.
But the quantifier doesn't know. They're like, oh, did I do it? Or like, you know, they're not sure.
How do they not know it? It says, you know, finished items.
Well, one thing we talked about was just like a submit button, which was just basically saying like you're done. Maybe that's just some sort of like small feedback to let the quantifier know that, like, you know, they did everything.
We could absolutely in the lists. Now I'm not a quantifier anymore. Let's see. Let me switch back. So do you see my screen now? Yeah. When I am quantifying, it says at the top of the screen how many items I have left to quantify. Of course, when when the quantification is finished, when I've done all items, so when that number becomes 0, we could of course add like an extra, like add a check mark there to the right or something to, you know, highlight like you're done. And the same thing here in this summary list that shows all your, these are all the receivers you should quantify. So when you are done with a receiver, it could also have like a small label like done exclamation mark.
We can also do small toast message, you know, that we talked about for other things.
A small toast message.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, some feedback, and then I think maybe someone else mentioned it, but at that screen you were... Oh, I'll let you finish.
More clear. And yep.
Yeah. So when you get, and then from this page here, just a button that takes me right into
sorry, let me, where did you start?
right here. So you click here, user clicks here, they're like, oh, quantify, wait, and then maybe just having this link, so this period 2 show up somewhere around here.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yep.
I think someone mentioned it, but I don't know.
Like quantify.
Yeah, because intuitively, like that's where I end up like, oh, it says quantify. I click, and I'm like,
Yeah, absolutely. It was very clear that you all ended up on that page looking for the quantify button, but it wasn't there.
And well, my praise throws an error. I don't know if that's normal.
Yeah, that is because you don't have any praise assigned. You haven't received any praise because you just you're new users. But of course, it should be handled in a better way.
Yeah. And then when this happens, my only option is to like log in again.
Yeah, that's this. I added that as like a killer reset function for now when we develop. So when something goes wrong, it just clears the browser cache and forces you to log in again, and that will be handled in a better way further on.
I just saw the admin dashboard, and there's buttons over there in the period details. Maybe the same buttons can be present but with different, like a actual link to the pool, maybe.
Absolutely. So let us, if we don't have any more like clear feedback on this that I should take with me, I will switch over to the admin view again, and I will close the period and show you how that looks, and also export the praise. So here, viewing the as an admin, I can view the information here, and have you only chosen the first person in the list to make quantifications, or is my interface not showing the full picture? Now it looks better. It wasn't updated. So you can see now the interface is updated with the total praise score, and if I view a person here, I can see the score for each praise, and hopefully we can see that, for instance, this praise has been quantified by 3 people, giving 3 different scores, and that so there you see the calculated average praise score. So this looks good. So actually, this is the first time we try quantifying with more than one account at a time. So I hope that the average calculation would work, and it did. So, but let's close this period down, because now we are done. So I close it, and closing it means that no more quantifications can be performed. Closed. So now if you reload your views, then you should not be able to see the quantify links anymore. But you should instead have more information on the quantification periods page, because previously this part of the page wasn't visible to you as quantifiers, because during the quantifications, the different quantifiers cannot view the praise scores that other quantifiers have given. But that's it. The period is closed, and now we should export the data to move into the next step. And now you don't see, I guess, my... Yeah, you see the screen. So you see that the export here works, and it generates a CSV file. I don't know if we can bring it up here. Can you open it in the browser? No, you can't. But it's a CSV file. Yeah. So that file then will be taken, imported into the RAD dashboard, and to do some analysis and distribution.
Yeah, so the distribution is getting done through the reward board, and we're using, I think someone said redemptions. How are we going to distribute that?
Using this Disperse app, I think.
Disperse app.
Yeah, I actually have news on that, because I was talking with Paulo yesterday from the Common Swarm, and he was he said he was going to do it anyway, but he's writing a script which would allow us to just take the list of the distribution and actually make an automatic vote in the gardens, which already shows how much tokens go to each person, and execute it once the vote passes. So we could skip this step, which relies on one person doing the actual distribution, and have it done automatically in the gardens DAO, and have the community vote on the exact distribution which is going to happen. So that could be...
Hold on, because the funds are in the reward board. They're not in the gardens.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to avoid, to have the whole community doing something like that. And that proposal being like on queue of the other proposals. So that's why we created another DAO for it. But maybe what we could
Okay.
do is to have a gardens template for this new DAO. I don't know if that would be too complicated.
I don't. I mean, I know what Pablo's trying to do with the EVM script, and I think we can do it. But yeah, migrating it to Gardens is a whole other thing. You know, we have this thing set up, and it was clearly defined from the get-go that we were going to use an Aragon DAO and all this stuff. So, you know, I don't know.
I mean, he can do the same for the Aragon DAO. That's the easy part. He has the EVM scripter already, CRISPR already done. So
Yeah,
so if you put it for the Gardens or for the Aragon DAO, it doesn't make a real difference.
I know. So he's doing it through the agent then, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool actually if we could vote it like together, like, and ideally it's conviction voting, so you know, like everyone who's interested vote on that. I mean, maybe like right after like the first World War funds go out, like if we could do it in conviction voting, I think it's. I mean, I think
We
it's more
don't want to do that.
decentralized. I just feel it's more decentralized, and I don't see the bad side of doing that.
The problem with that is that conviction voting can only distribute wrapped XDAI right now, and to add another token, it will take a really long time. That's probably something that will happen at some point, but we want to distribute TEC tokens. So that's why there was all that process of transferring the tokens to another DAO.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, until Gardens have like dual tokens, it cannot be done.
Yeah, let's investigate that further. If how easy it is to integrate with the Aragon DAO, and if it's a viable option, let's do it. And otherwise, we can use the Disperse app, I guess, as planned.
I mean, using EVM CRISPR will be super easy. I can tell you that, and it'll like not create too much overhead of trying to use another app with things. And you know, the Common Swarm, like Pablo and Sam and all these people are building it, so we have a lot more leverage for you know, making this stuff happen and getting resources. Shit. Hummingbird is
So you all agree, the ones with insight and knowledge about it, that it's a good idea of pursuing this?
I think it's actually probably the easiest way if we set it up. It's not difficult to set up, and it's probably going to be easier than the alternatives.
Mm-hmm. And who can set it up? Does it have to be Pablo, or can you set it up with their support, or how do we move this forward?
He can probably write the script, and then once he has the script done, anybody can just connect to EVM CRISPR and run the script with the JSON file exported by the Aragon DAO, by the rewards.
EVM CRISPR, is that?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
It's Paulo, not Pablo.
Paulo, sorry.
Yes.
Set it up. Okay, cool. Let's see, we have 15 more minutes. What should we talk about? Could we set some dates? Mitch, do you feel that we could schedule something now? Is it done enough?
I feel a little bit weird about setting up dates. I see that there's still a lot of errors that need to be fixed. And like, I know that they're small, but like, I don't know. Because we have over 30 people that would show up to this thing. So, you know, are we ready for the onslaught? How are we going to manage issues and stuff?
Yeah, there will be. I know. I mean, it's like I said, it's a chicken and egg situation. It will. We need to set it. It would be slightly weird to wait until the system is 100% done until we plan something, and then realize when we say that we are done, then we say, okay, then in 2 weeks we can do the trial quant. Then we could have used those 2 weeks of doing something else.
I mean,
but basically, the big thing that needs to be that remains is the importing of the real data into the system. The small bugs you see in the system right now can be fixed until whatever date we set. It can be done by Friday or tomorrow. It's nothing big.
the other thing is that we also don't have the final parameters ready that we were supposed to set by the reward board.
Yeah. So let's set a date for setting the parameters first then, because we to move into status updates. The plan is for us to meet tomorrow about the source cred instance and setting up the pollen bot so that the source cred instance is fully configured. And then all that remains for the source cred is setting the final params. Having a meeting deciding on those final params after we have configured the source cred is a good idea, I think.
But praise is independent of source cred at this point, right?
Yeah, but the question is, when we do the trial quant, do we only do the trial quantification of praise, or do we do a trial rewards period with everything? I have also a plan for it that we also will try to export the source cred data for November, and then we do the whole thing as far as we can. So we do the praise quantification, we export the source cred data for November, we do the post quant analysis for the praise, and then we do the RAD dashboard analysis when we merge everything to calculate the final distribution. So that we try all the steps.
So let's schedule right now the source cred meeting to set up the params. Mateo, when is a good time for you?
And if we are not 100% finished with the source cred instance configuration tomorrow, I think we should leave a couple of days so that we can sort out any remaining issues before we have that meeting. So maybe not until like mid next week or something.
Okay, so if we're depending on that for the praise quant, the way I see it is that we could do the praise quant, letting everyone know that is a trial. I mean, we should even use this opportunity to catch all the bugs and to like have their feedback into it. And then while this is being integrated, this feedback, there's a few days for finishing source cred, and then we have this meeting to update the params, and then within that same week we can run everything all together. But I don't think all of these 4 steps need to happen in the same time. They can be happening, and then the final run will just be when everything is ready, right?
Yep. We can take everything a step at a time. There's no stress, and it's probably better and wiser to do like you described. But then we can like propose the date for doing the trial quant, and I think we are ready to propose that we could do the trial quant next week on this time. We still plan to be finished with the praise system, like fixing all these small UI glitches that you saw today. But by Friday, and with you now having access to it, we can fix the small remaining issues, and also load the system up with real praise. And then we have a few days next week to fix any like remaining small things before we do the quant. How does that sound?
So we'll have to schedule it then, but you're saying from Wednesday forward next week.
Mm-hmm. That Wednesday, this time on Wednesday would be the starting point, because I guess we would like to do like an onboarding session or with the quantifiers.
Yeah, sure. And then what's my other question? How are you gathering feedback? Because there will be lots.
Yeah, let's come up with a way. Any ideas? I don't think we should set up a type form. It doesn't have to be that formal. Maybe maybe we'll do some kind of smart Notion document or something.
So where's your repository?
Sorry?
Where's your repository?
Yeah, we can, but my guess would be that not all of the quantifiers are find their way around GitHub.
I would.
It would be easier to just have a document. Or what do you think?
I think a fair amount of them will be familiar with GitHub, because that's already how we do a lot of the stuff in TEC.
Yeah.
Is issue tracking, and if that goes directly to your repository, then it's much easier for you to track.
Yeah, definitely. There will be quite a lot of amount of noise, I would guess, in a situation like this, like stuff being just general questions, etc. But those are also easy to filter out and answer and close down. So yeah, it's
if we have the scope to do so, maybe we can add a feedback button and do one of those text boxes that just goes to that automatically makes like an issue on GitHub. It would be some work, but it isn't that much work, so that can be.
I think GitHub also has a link format so that you can have only like a button with the link and the link the URL contains the information of linking to the right repository and setting the header and etc.
What is that needs to be finished in SourceGrid, Christopher? Is it just the meeting tracker bot?
No, to start with, the SourceGrid instance needs to be out to. We need to configure the pollen bot so that users can self-administer their user identities, so that they can link their Ethereum addresses and GitHub accounts, etc. So that is one thing, and the other part of the pollen bot is also auto filling the database with new information at regular intervals, like once a week. All the information is getting pulled from GitHub and Discourse and put into SourceGrid, and that is not happening automatically right now. If I'm right, yeah. So that there's like some small configuration details that needs to be set for that to happen. But then also that there is the meeting tracker bot, and now maybe we don't have time to talk about that, but I spoke to VivaV earlier today, and you have had some progress, so we can expect to see that bot in the quite near future, I believe. What do you say, Vi?
Yeah, we should. I just had one quick question if people can answer. Would we be comfortable with it not being a GitHub action? With the plugin not being a GitHub action?
Why would we want it to be a GitHub action at all?
Because most of the current plugins are, like the Discord plugin also runs in a GitHub action. As I was wondering if there's some preference for that, or is it all right to run it inside a DigitalOcean droplet? There's like there might be some argument about transparency over here, that you can't see if it's happening. But yeah, that's my main like concern. Is that the only way to check that it wrote things properly is to either check the source grid instance or log into your Docker container and checking if it did what it was supposed to do?
And how would GitHub Actions be more transparent? Because we still would have the MongoDB database that stores the.
Yeah, but like the cred output, yeah, like if you go to GitHub and all the action runs are locked by GitHub, so you can have an output that displays the cred rank output, so anyone can go over there and view the data and match it with source cred, so that just that they can be sure that there hasn't been any tampering. In this case, that's not that transparent if it's like running inside a container that's on a server that everyone does not have access to.
I don't know. Do we have any opinions on this? Is there a huge need to be able to have transparency in all links of the chain, from tracking meeting attendance to the data ending up in the source cred database? Because I guess you can also look at the final data stored in the source cred database, or their ledger, and compare to your member, because you always have to have something to compare against. So you would have to have made sort of a manual, like a screen dump, and on who were the participants on this meeting. I would like to check that those participants actually have been tracked in source cred.
Zap, do you have an opinion on it?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, until now, we're just praising, and sometimes like people in calls was not being praised just because it was very human. And I mean, if there is a possibility to be transparent, like of course, but I mean, and I don't know. I think that's a collective decision, but I think like we try our best, and if and actually like if it's on Christopher's computer, like at least we can say, okay, if someone wants to check out with Christopher, and Christopher like gives the data without manipulating anything, I think that should be fine. But that's just my opinion.
And like we discussed earlier today, the place in between Discord and source cred would be this database where the bot, the Discord meeting tracker bot, stores the information, and that database, we wouldn't delete any data from that database unless we run out of storage space. And since the meeting tracker information, it's quite a small amount of data, we could assume that we could at least like track a year's worth of meeting attendance information without a problem, even on like a small DigitalOcean setup. So if something would occur, if someone would question something, we could always just do a report from the database, like showing like this is exactly what we have tracked. But like I said, that information isn't worth much unless you have something to compare against, and you don't. There is no way of generating a list to compare against unless you have manually taken notes of who were attending each meeting. So you would only would only be able to do like pinpoint and do what we in Swedish call stickprovskontroller, where you check one meeting because you took notes of that meeting and see if that is correct, and you wouldn't be able to compare the whole series of meetings.
So I guess the consensus it is all right if it's running in a server and not on GitHub, right? All right, that works. That's convenient.
If it runs in like bye this computer, Christopher, I don't know, someone else working on it, like 3 different sources, it's even better. Like it's not one person that have like control, like like blockchain. Like if it's running all the data in different places, it's better. Not like
Yeah, it will most likely be a centralized location in like a DigitalOcean or Heroku or something. Not Heroku, but yeah, like a server. But we are out of time for today.